IFW Global is already reaping the fruits of its fraud and blackmail campaign, targeting both individual traders and brokerage firms. Many innocent people have suffered as a result of its actions, believing they had found associates and helpers in IFW Global, a company well known for its Forex scam investigation. Unfortunately, in reality, this was not the case. People now have no financial resources, because Sydney investigators decided to profit from their misery by stealing as much money as they could through IFW Global's fraud. That is why you must recognize the villains by sight in order to avoid falling for any of their tricks. This article will investigate the crimes committed by Allan Watson, the detective agency's second owner and head of global investigations. Dossier on Allan Watson's fraud. He is described as follows on the company website. Allan Watson is the head of the Global Investigations Department, which has been dealing with such cases for the past 38 years. He has successfully handled investment fraud, asset tracing and recovery, business intelligence, security, and crisis management in both the private and public sectors. Furthermore, he is currently in charge of major international investigations across Asia, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and the Americas. Let us step back from this narcissistic act and see what the World Wide Web has to say about it. In 2011, Allan Watson was involved in a fraudulent scheme that targeted over 750 people. The stolen funds totaled over $40 million. The following individuals found him guilty: Lanny A. Brewer, Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division; Neil H. McBride, the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia; James W. McJunkin, Assistant Director of Investigations for the FBI's Washington Field Office. To elaborate, Allan Watson committed fraud by transferring funds from clients who had invested in his club to venture capital firms. The risk was clearly too high, resulting in a loss of tens of millions of dollars. Neil H. McBride, the United States Attorney, was the one to report it. He provided evidence of the crime and detailed the extent of the damage done to the scam victims. It should be noted that Allan Watson pleaded guilty to one of the charges, electronic communications scam, in front of U.S. District Judge Gerald Bruce Lee in the Eastern District of Virginia. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The story appears to have ended on a positive note, but it has not. As it turns out, he was not arrested on December 9, 2011. This is because the crook bribed officials and helped them uncover several frauds. He did it quickly and easily using the stolen money. As is typical of true criminals, he kept a low profile after the incident until 2016. Then, the following information became available. This was an unfortunate time because he and his accomplice, Ken Gamble, had founded IFW Global, which was nothing more than a fraud scheme involving the detective agency. Conclusions: as you can see, we are dealing with dangerous and cunning individuals who bribe officials before returning to their old ways. They ruin people's lives and blackmail large and gullible brokers who are willing to give large sums of money in order to stay afloat and avoid being sunk by scammers. You should definitely avoid the IFW Global asset recovery scam. Punishing criminals is undoubtedly the best course of action. Each of us will do everything we can to see justice prevail.